One love, y'all, because we're together. United, baby. Under one roof. Come on. In a house is ours. It's one love, y'all.
I want to say welcome, everyone, to Constructive Talks, a place where you can sit back and have intelligent conversations without judgment. We believe here at Constructive Talks that all experiences can have constructive outcomes, because in every experience, there's a constructive lesson to be learned, which can be used to empower you and those around you towards a positive, constructive goal. Today's topic is internal, external, and unconscious cultural conditioning. And I always start my podcast off with, at some points in our lives, we all experience the same thing, but most things are an individual experience. How do we perceive these things individually and or collectively? Let's talk about the types of cultural conditioning we experience throughout our lives. Of course, I listed 3 different ones: internal, external, and unconscious. I want to talk about the Peace Corps. Everybody remembers the Peace Corps, right? Oh, it's such a wonderful thing. You get to see the world. But they had a mission, and their mission was within 5 steps. It went something like this: the 5-step process of cultural conditioning. And I'm going to provide the links inside the website on my page below this video. I would love for you to take a look at it. It's pretty informative and enlightening. And when you look back over it all, you're like, how long has this conditioning been happening? I would say from the point where one race had power over the other one. And the 5 steps are observation. At this stage, it's kind of like you're in the beginning of seeing behavior, a particular thing, like children mimic parents, observe what the parents do, or even you as an adult or a teenager, you kind of look at what's going on around you and you say, okay, let me mimic that. So observation, first you want to look like, imitation. As I said, you're going to try it and do it. You might succeed in the beginning, but sometimes it might take a few tries until you get it. Then reinforcement, such as someone reinforcing that you do that behavior correctly or perform that behavior or task correctly, such as eat with your mouth closed or use your fork for that, and so on. I know you understand what I'm talking about. The next one, the 4th step, internalization. So what this step means is, hey, I got it. I know how to do it. I don't need somebody telling me how to do it. I don't need reinforcement from step 3. I got this. And so you automatically, when you see these certain cues in your life, you do it. And then the 5th one is spontaneous manifestation. You're able to do everything right. You're proud of yourself. You start to learn new behaviors. And guess what? You start to teach others this behavior as well after this phase. It all comes naturally of the right way to do it. Now that you kind of know the 5 steps that the Peace Corps use around the globe, you kind of get the idea of, I never really looked at it that way. Hey, now you have the opportunity to, and let's talk about that a minute. So the first conditioning we want to discuss is internal cultural conditioning. The first one is church. Okay, let's think about that one a little bit. You remember going to church when you were young and you needed to be still, sit quiet. You watch folks, I know in the black religion, they shout, they dance some, get the Holy Ghost. You go to different churches, different denominations. It might be peaceful, nice, and and you find yourself going to sleep. You go to some churches and it's just kind of you there and you receive your word from your God and leave happy. Now, my personal experience with church is I've heard all kinds of things. When you have bad things going on in your life or things you don't understand, pray about it. Or, hey, well, your family can't succeed unless you're in church. Or, You should be in church. Nothing's going to go right for you unless you're in church. And that's one part of it where I think, and of course you can respond in the comments on what I'm saying. Please do. Feel free. What I think is that a lot of folks might use going to church as a crutch on sacrificing their life to accomplish things. And that was just my observation where I said, well, you know what? Yes, I'm going to pray about it, but I have some work to do with that prayer to get it done. Not just sit back and pray and, let destiny go whatever direction it's going to take me. So that was the church part. Now let's go into acceptable conduct. And think about that some, about around your lives and how they don't know how to act. Or you're supposed to act this way. Or you're supposed to be doing these things in these different environments. Think about that internal cultural conditioning when, your parents or a loved one, or friend, family, kind of corrected you on your conduct. Even if it wasn't, bad as you saw it, but you kind of got corrected on it and pulled back into line. Now let's look at mentally. I know in a lot of communities, mental health is kind of like a whisper, and I would say, those whispers are now becoming a little louder voice, where it's acceptable to have things that need to be dealt with in a manner to help you be more active in your life, and that's okay. That's good stuff. And then guess what else I'm going to move to? One of the largest things, other than church, is how we've been conditioned to not trusting finance systems. Yeah, not trusting finance systems. Think about that. Now, if you sit back and look at it, somebody's making a lot of money in those same finance systems we don't trust. And every day we're part of the finance system, from banking, saving, 401ks, going to work. So it is a lot of trust in that system in places if we look into it. But we've been conditioned to believe, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to invest my money in the market because I'll lose it. We buy lottery tickets. We go to casinos. We spend money having fun. And those are in businesses that we're investing in that business to prosper and to get larger so it can make us allow us to have more fun. That's investing. There's just no return in it other than temporary fun, right? So the education system, let's move to that one. The education system. What have we been conditioned? How does it condition us? It teaches us history. It teaches us all kind of the top subjects: science, math, English. And that system within itself guides us in a direction of cultural conditioning internally. And I know for a fact that with me growing up, don't make F's. Go to school, don't make F's was kind of the biggest thing. And I wasn't talked about college. College wasn't let me see how I'm going to say this. College wasn't on the list of success in life. Not making F's was, and if college came, I wouldn't even have known how to take advantage of the opportunity. I'm going to get into the marketing internal cultural conditioning. What would you say in your life is probably one of the strongest conditioned traditions that you were taught to believe is the most important thing in your life? Think about that for one moment. For me, Christmas. Oh, wow. Christmas. Christmas costs a lot of money and time. But boy, I wanted my gifts under that tree. Think about that conditioning in Christmas. Let's just reflect on it, as we go through this podcast. Christmas, internal, external, unconscious. That meets all three of them, right? Okay. And now, while we're talking about internal cultural conditioning, I want to focus on one of the things, and it has to do with, I don't know if this originated from church or if it originated from, old stories, or if it originated from being passed on from one race to another or one person to another. I know I have heard it in the Bible, and I'm going to talk about, for the internal cultural conditioning, that thing they call the generational curse. Break the generational curse. How can we break that generational curse? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end part 1 right there with that question. How do we break the generational curse? I want you to think about that until we meet again. May your evening or your day be wonderful. And may your new day, which starts tomorrow, be even better than today. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for being amazing. That is very important. As we end this podcast today, I want to let each one of you know that not only are you incredible, but it's about you that constructive conversations happen. And with these constructive conversations and constructive goals and constructive ideas and thoughts, control your moments, control your day, and let everyone around you know there's a constructive lesson to be learned, which can be used to empower you and those around you towards a positive, constructive goal.